we're going to talk about how to launch and sell a high converting online course with all the AI, the artificial intelligence out there. So that way, as a course creator, whether you are new or seasoned at it, that way you don't get replaced, you don't get drowned out with all the noise or just left behind with what AI is doing to really shake up online education. So I'm Dallin. I'm the founder of Content Supply. We have Kate, our creative director, Kelsey, our course director here. And so let's jump into this topic and first talk about, why does this matter? Why are we looking at AI? How is it changing how we learn, teach, create? Do you guys have any hot takes on what this looks like for how AI is impacting course creators?
Yeah, I think AI is making people feel like there's no need for course creation anymore. And in some ways, there's a lot less of a need. I can see why people think that. Um, but I will say what it comes down to at the end of the day, one of the biggest things is people like organized information, and people like information from people they can trust. Um, and a lot of times people feel like I can find this on ChatGPT or on AI, but having a face put to the information and having it organized in a platform like we create it, in a curriculum as we create it, makes a huge difference. But to go along with that as well, a lot of the times people are paying for interaction with the expert.
Ooh, that's a good word. Yeah.
And so that's why coaching always is paired really nicely. And that is not something you can get from AI.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one thing to add to that too is the idea that we were talking about this before, where you can ChatGPT search almost anything you can think of, any question you have. You can go in. I mean, we even drafted the outline to what we're going to talk about with ChatGPT, right? Because it organizes information and ideas. However, I would even say it lacks the human interaction, but also the human storytelling. I think people learn from stories of what has worked and what hasn't. I mean, look at history, right? You think we learn better from history because there's a series of stories, both good and bad, around how to do something correctly, how to not do it correctly. And so, to your point, Kelsey, yeah, people, the more people get inundated with like AI related information, whether it's an AI spokesperson or an AI search, yes, it may be helpful to an extent, but there's still a gap of execution or implementation of information that ChatGPT can't do for you fully. And that's where having a coach, having that interaction, having someone to help guide you each step of the way. And there's a big element of like still thought leadership, and wanting to learn from someone you can fully trust to know that they'll guide you from point A to Z. And so why AI, it's important to understand AI and why it matters, because there's going to be even more competition. So many people are going to create spammy AI driven courses that may sell a lot. But the more that happens, kind of like just content creation in general, I think more people are going to crave learning direct from a human, because there's going to be plenty of signs for them to know that this is AI or this is human. And I prefer human.
Yeah. I think that there's I think the term is a pendulum swing. Is that the correct word? Where I think with the new creation of AI and how accessible it is for people, where a lot of people are just relying so heavily on that, but we're going to see a change here shortly where they recognize the human possibilities aren't there, and so they're going to come back more to the middle where we still use AI, but not, probably not as much, or it's going to change the way we, more than anything, the way we structure things or the way we learn things. But in the end, human interaction is always going to be the most important in some sense. So I do think that there's going to be a little swing back here in a bit.
Yeah, I agree, Kelsey. I feel like a lot of people use ChatGPT and it kind of makes you feel like you have unlimited information because you can really search and get good quality information on anything, but that does not compare to people's lived experiences. And if
Mhm.
I was really trying to learn a new skill, yes, you can learn a variety of different skills. Like there's a huge variety, obviously, of information in ChatGPT, but that's never going to beat out someone's expertise in one certain industry or one certain skill, and getting to hear about their lived experience and not just what the information, or not just a summary of the information that's on the internet.
Yeah, I just thought of this random example. So the Mona Lisa, right? Famous painting, done by Da Vinci, right? And imagine learning an online course or masterclass direct from Leonardo da Vinci on how to paint the Mona Lisa. As much as you know that painting, I think is it's super famous. I've seen it in real life. You show up and you're like, oh, that's it. It's just a little tiny painting on a massive wall. I think it's a little overrated, but you can respect the fame, and the artistry behind it. And this applies to any form of art or expertise. Where would you rather learn from Da Vinci himself, the human, or go and ChatGPT and be like, hey, give me a step-by-step process for how to recreate the Mona Lisa with the same exact paints? I mean, I'm sure it will tell you and give you a framework. But will the result or the experience you have around it, the interaction, be the same? And I say that, and then all of a sudden people are going to go and do like some kind of CG video of a lookalike Da Vinci, and create a course that's like, wow, Da Vinci brought back from the dead, and he's teaching you. But yeah, and with that too, I would say, I mean, there definitely are threats, with AI when it comes to course creation. It definitely becomes a roadblock for people who want to get into online education. But, if you go look at the stats, the online education industry is one of the biggest and booming industries, online, especially. And we see that with a lot of like bigger startups or just maybe solo course creators. And the hunger for education and information. And like you said, that pendulum swing is just going to swing back to people wanting to hear more from humans. And so it's definitely a short-term threat, more so from a mindset block for people, where they're going to be like, well, people can find that in AI, so I'm not going to create that course, or I'm not going to, serve this group of people. But yeah, no, I find it interesting. And if anything, it's worth the try. Test your course idea, give it a shot, and if people are going to be like, hey, I learned that from AI, I'm like, cool, on to the next, or maybe I'll adjust my idea and try again. So yeah, to hit on what's still working and what will keep working. I do think we hit on some of these items, like human connection, original thinking, trust building content for sure. Kelsey, you hit on having a structured or even well-produced high-value course with a clear outcome. Definitely the structure. Some other notes here: personal brand, huge. Like the personal brand that speaks all about the human side, right, of branding, and not just the brand, what a faceless brand. Pre-sales, validation, storytelling, all going to be very important. But let's hit on this next part: how to build a modern course that stands out and sells. What would you guys say is working right now for modern course creation, to make something that actually sells and can help you grow?
I think, like we had mentioned before, I think ChatGPT kind of poses a unique threat to content creation because people feel like they can learn a huge variety of things. But what I have seen recently work well with courses is with things that are either super specialized or with things that are a little bit more hands-on, like that are harder to learn reading off of a website and way more easily earned or learned visually. Things like DIY projects or construction, or learning how to do a specific thing on guitar. I feel like those types of industries that are a little bit more easily visually learned are a lot more beneficial. And with things that are a little bit more complicated, like I think a lot of the industry that keeps popping into my mind is finance. Like there's always going to be a huge amount of information on what to do, where to put your stocks, where to invest, where to just get information from. Like there's so much information. And so I think if you're someone who has been successful and you have a good personal brand surrounding that, that's an example of you taking your unique take and your unique proposition and who you are as a person and the success that you've made. That is going to stand out way more than someone searching how to do stocks on ChatGPT. But Kelsey, I know you've had a lot more experience up front with course creation as of recently. So I'm curious to hear what you think.
I think you hit on it. I think what makes a huge difference in a course are those who are willing to rule out what to not include in a course, because a lot of times these experts come in and they're wanting to share everything they know with people. And of course, that's valuable. But what a lot of people don't understand is that overwhelms your audience, number one. And number two, it's a lot harder to market, I'd say, because if you narrow your niche down more, you're going to be able to hit on certain people that are willing to buy it rather than appealing to every single person. And that information is usually easier to find. So if you narrow down your niche, those courses usually are a lot better.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I mean, the overwhelm is a huge aspect, right? If you give people just blanket access to a training library of like 40 hours of resources to go through, it creates a sense of overwhelm or like, where do I start? And if people are overwhelmed or confused, they're going to back out. They're going to be like, I'm going to go on to the next one. And I think there's an aspect too, where I think a lot of new course creators get so eager and enthusiastic about having the perfect curriculum and information they're going to teach, being like, I know this is valuable to me, so it's got to be valuable to someone else. But that may not be the case, where you should focus more on how you craft an irresistible offer around your course versus the curriculum and putting more focus there. And when we say the offer, it's like when someone buys this online course of yours, what is everything they're going to get? Of course, like what are the benefits? What's the one transformation to focus on? What problems is it solving for them? Who is it for exactly? And then a list, like a short list of things that are included, and with an emphasis on a coaching and interaction that they get, like Kelsey was talking about. And then the other thing I want to hit on too was like there's definitely an aspect of AI is like, definitely use AI in your course creation process, but don't have it be like a co-pilot to the process, like a partner in collaboration, but not a replacement of you and the human. So, and we use it a lot for our content production, even script writing at times, if it makes sense, in our systems. But yeah, people are going to tell. So double down on like the modern course are the ones that are very niche down. If anything, I would even recommend exploring a mini course. A mini course is something that's 60 minutes or less. It gives one quick win or transformation, really clear messaging, and you don't overwhelm the audience, because we're all busy people at the end of the day. And the thought of going through a whole like semester worth of information is like super off-putting for me. I'm not interested. I've even given up on listening to most long-form podcasts anymore, just because it's such a time commitment. And
course creation rates of completion are really low too.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to keep them shorter rather than putting all your effort into something people aren't even going to finish watching.
Yeah. So if you give it 60 minutes, it may be a lower ticket price, then they're going to complete it and get the win. And then they're going to come back to you if you have another mini course on another win. And so it can be a whole library of mini courses, trainings, but something to consider. And it gets their foot in the door, your students and customers. So yeah, well, with that, we're framing this around the fact that course creation is not going to go away. If anything, if you have been thinking about it for months or years as to whether you should launch your own online course, you should, because there's room for everyone. You can have a piece of the pie that exists for the education, and we're here to help. You can go to course.co to learn more about what we offer with done-for-you course creation solutions, where we definitely focus on human-led interaction, and making it strategy first, because it's done for you, service done by humans. It's not automated, any of that. And we help you turn your unique expertise and stories into a premium product. And we have plans that work for everyone, what you're looking to get done. And Kelsey is here as the main strategist and expert behind helping our clients be successful. And she guides the process with and for you.
That's right. I'm excited to get started.
Yeah. So yeah, again, go to course.co. That's the website, our platform. And so yeah, if you want to build a course the right way, you can of course AI search it if you want to, and you'll probably get some nice tips. But if you want it done right and get it fully completed, then check us out. Go to course.co. All right. Hey, thanks, Kate and Kelsey, for joining, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys. Wow.
Okay. The live stream experience. The funny thing with live streams too, at least through